Ollie. Then we will have the U.S. Marshal for the Middle District of Tennessee, Denny King. Then the U.S. Marshal for the Western District of Tennessee, Tyrese Miller. Followed by some remarks from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Then Commissioner Jennifer Nichols with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. And then the TBI Director, David Rauch, will be speaking. He'll be opening it up for questions when that's all finished, and we'll go from there. I'd ask that you keep your questions solely focused to the operation that we're discussing today. I think you'll find that there's plenty for you to report on a little bit later today. Sound good? Any preliminary questions for me? Okay. I want to let you know I will post a release immediately following this news conference, so don't feel like you need to scramble to get data and details back to your newsrooms. It'll be available for them pretty quickly, okay? We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You can be seated. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Josh Devine, and I serve as the Communications Director here for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. I want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning as we discuss the results of what I think is a really significant operation to locate and recover missing children across the state of Tennessee, a real collaborative operation. You're going to be hearing about that from not just the TBI, but also the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, as well as the United States Marshals Service. We couldn't have done it without any of these partners involved in this operation, and we're excited to share with you the results. First up from TBI, you'll be hearing from Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Shelly Smitherman, who handles our Missing Children's program. So Shelly, if you'd come forward.
Good morning. I'm Shelly Smitherman, and I serve as an Assistant Special Agent in Charge at TBI, overseeing the Missing Children's Program. I am so thankful to be here to share with you the good news about Operation Volunteer Strong today. This was a partnership between the United States Marshal Service, the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Our mission: to identify and locate our missing children in Tennessee. Leading up to the start of this operation took months of planning, which started in the fall of 2020. Our incredible team of intelligence analysts, began building intelligence files for 240 missing children we determined and we were hopeful could be located through using various investigative techniques. Starting in January of this year, ground teams of law enforcement officers started running down leads on each child during a 2-week surge operation in our 3 grand regions of Tennessee. The operation ended in late February, and we're happy to share the results with you today. Of the 240 missing children identified, I'm so excited to tell you that we recovered 150 children. They range in age from 3 to 17 years old. They also recovered 8 children who were residing out of the state. Who are these children? Some left their home to run from some situation or conflict. Some were found with non-custodial parents or family members. Some fled from state custody. Some were dealing with abuse or exploitation. And you'll hear more about what's next for these children in just a few moments. I want to thank personally the Deputy U.S. Marshals from each of the regions who coordinated the ground teams, as well as the many TBI agents, the intelligence analysts, local law enforcement officers, and DCS who assisted with the tracking down of the leads that led to the successful recovery of these kids. Now, each U.S. Marshal will tell you more about the results in their respective regions and their key takeaways from this operation. First, David Jolly, who serves as the U.S. Marshal for the Eastern District of Tennessee. Marshal Jolly.
Thank you, Shelley. If you don't mind, I'm going to take my mask off just for a moment while I'm over here. I think I'm far enough away from everybody to be socially distanced. Thank you for being here today. The United States Marshal Service is fully committed to assisting our state and local law enforcement partners in tracking down and finding missing children, particularly endangered missing children. And we will do whatever it takes in our power to be able to get out there and do just that. We were given the authority under the Justice for Victims for Trafficking Act of 2015 to step into this area and be able to further help law enforcement in this respect. We had received the authority in 2006 under the Adam Walsh Act to work with state and federal and local law enforcement on the missing children or sexual compliance, or people that should be registered properly with the sex offender registry. And then as of shortly after that, the new law was created that made it a crime to cross state lines if you're in failing to register, if you're should be a registered sex offender. So this operation was a fantastic operation, and I want to give credit to all of the agencies, particularly the 3 main partner agencies in this operation, which was TBI, United States Marshal Service, and the Department of Children's Services. And without each one's role in this operation, there's no way it could have been as successful as it was. And an operation like this is certainly not about numbers and statistics. It's about the children and each one that we can recover. If we'd have recovered one, it would have been a great success, but the numbers were fantastic, and I give so much credit to the teams. Each agency kind of had a bit of a unique role in this operation. You know, the Marshals, we're famous for tracking down fugitives, violent fugitives. So our thought was, why not apply that same skill set, what we're really good at, tracking down fugitives, to helping locate missing children. With that, the TBI, who's the state repository, and Director Rauch can speak more to that when he gets up here, 4 missing and endangered children in the state of Tennessee. was a fantastic partner. Their criminal intelligence unit, which are some of their members are in the back of the room, and I certainly want to recognize them, because without the analysts, this would not have been the success that it was. The analysts put together all the packets for the investigators to get out on the streets and start tracking down these children. They did so with the full cooperation and assistance of the Department of Children's Services. Then the agents from TBI and the Deputy U.S. Marshals from across the state of Tennessee, all 3 state districts, Middle, East, West, hit the streets 2 weeks in each district looking for these children. The numbers are fantastic. The cases, the situations of the kids are very varied. The reasons that they were missing, it's kind of all over the board. There's a lot of different reasons, and I won't get into all of those, but a lot of different reasons that these children are missing. But one of the things that we wanted to really, that we really want to focus on in trying to get involved in these is, we know from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that 1 in 6 endangered runaways end up involved in sex trafficking. And whatever we can do to help recover these kids, help prevent them falling to sexual exploitation, that's what we want to do. We'll use every resource in the power of the United States Marshal Service to assist TBI, DCS, and our state partners in an operation like this to recover these missing and endangered children. Thank you. And I will introduce Middle Tennessee U.S. Marshal Denny King.
Thank you, Marshal. It's an honor for me to be able to join here with our partners on this operation, with Operation Volunteer Strong. I concur with Marshal Jolly, our commitment. The Marshal Service is committed to work with our state and local partners to search and recover these missing children. I cannot imagine being a parent and my child missing, not knowing where that child's at or what that child may be experiencing. And even more tragic, can you imagine being that child that is either made a bad decision or whatever the circumstances may be taken against their will, but what are they experiencing? And being that child and not knowing whether somebody really cares, whether anybody's looking for them or searching for them. Have they forgotten about me? You know, I just can't imagine those circumstances. Here in Middle Tennessee, we were fortunate to close 42, or clear 42 cases. 29 of them was done with the analytical work and help of the different ones working the cases early on. We recovered 13 during that time. And one of these children that was recovered in Middle Tennessee was identified as a potential human trafficking case. And this is an ongoing investigation with TBI at this time. But another case that I think is very important in mentioning is a child that one of our groups had worked diligently with. They'd tried to uncover every stone looking for this child, was unable to do that. But the next day, a tip was called in to the local police department, and that child was recovered. This child had been missing for 460 days that this child had been missing. And you know, no one may not be charged in this case, but can you imagine being that child and not knowing after 460 days whether somebody was really looking for them or not? We can't give up. We need the public, we need the media, we need our law enforcement partners and the other children's services departments to not give up on these children, to continually look for them and make sure that they know that someone's looking for them. at least these children that we have talked about here today, the ones that have been recovered, knows that someone is looking for them, that somebody was looking for them and somebody recovered them. Those other missing children out there, I wanted to send the message to you that we are looking for you, and we will continue to do that. For each one of these kids that is missing, we don't know what damage may have been done, but we know the ones that we have recovered during this operation are in a safe environment today. Thank you. Now, I will turn it over to Marshal Tyrese Miller from the Western District of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning. Today, children in our state are safer. Predators are behind bars, and for those who aren't, they should be worried. Just like the Tennesseans who volunteered to fight for our country in the War of 1812, which led to our state's nickname, DCS, TBI, and the Marshal Service went to battle for our children as part of Operation Volunteer Strong. The enemy in this fight was images of empty chairs at the dinner table, vacant seats in the classrooms, and families fearing the worst for their youngest. In West Tennessee, we partner with the Tennessee Department of Correction, the Shelby and Fayette County Sheriff's Departments, the police departments in Memphis, Jackson, Trenton, Brownsville, and Horn Lake, Mississippi. And together, we have hopefully changed the course of 52 young lives. We also made a number of arrests during this operation, including the coincidental apprehension of Tiffany Moore, who was wanted for attempted carjacking in Memphis. Our search was not limited by state lines. Wisconsin law enforcement assisted us in recovering a Brownsville boy in their state, and also a missing girl from Memphis was recovered in Georgia. Additionally, we located a missing girl from Iowa in a motel in Horn Lake, Mississippi, about 18 miles outside of Memphis. There were indications of human trafficking, and that's an ongoing investigation by the Horn Lake Police Department and the FBI. We also found a missing Nebraska girl in a Dyersburg motel. The man she was with, Austin Swatter, he was wanted on a Nebraska warrant for terroristic threats and unlawful use of a firearm to commit a felony. It was our pleasure to help him find his way back to the Cornhusker State. And during our unrelated fugitive investigation, we discovered a juvenile wanted for a violent crime in Shelby County was actually a missing child from Alabama, and he was recovered in Arkansas. These are just some of the success stories from the Western District that highlight the collaborative effort in which our teams worked. That team effort was especially evident just last week when a teen was reportedly abducted by her ex-boyfriend from her home in Memphis. The Memphis Police Department activated their child abduction response team and notified TBI. Agents and marshals assigned to Operation Volunteer Strong were able to respond. With an active arrest warrant for the ex-boyfriend, marshals were able to do what we do best, find a fugitive. After conducting skillful interviews, marshals located the suspect, Manuel Lopez, and he led us to the team, who was found uninjured in this dilapidated garage. Lopez faces charges of kidnapping, stalking, and domestic assault. Thanks to quick and collaborative work, 6 hours after the abduction and 3 locations removed from the crime scene, an abducted, endangered child was found. And I believe this was possible because Operation Volunteer Strong was underway and our team was ready to react. So we are grateful to be a part of this effort, but our work is not done. Our commitment to bringing our children home will never end. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Josh. Thank you.
As many of you know, when we work on missing children cases, we can't do it without the partnership of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and they too were invaluable in this operation. And I'd like you to now hear from the President and CEO of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in this video message.
Hi, I'm John Clark, the President and CEO of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Things are really different these days, and I'm coming to you from my home here in Virginia. But I want to say thank you to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, and the U.S. Marshals Service for the great work that you just did to help recover missing children in the state of Tennessee. You know, last year at the center, we had over 29,000 missing children cases reported to us. And we work closely with law enforcement every day, and that's why we were glad to partner with all of you to help find and protect kids. So keep up the good work, and thanks for all you do.
And we certainly appreciate them, not only for their support, but for passing along those well wishes at the end of this operation. You know, you've heard from law enforcement now, but there are a lot of children who have some very real needs. And to address that and also share her insights on this operation, we have Commissioner Jennifer Nichols from the Tennessee Department of Children's Services.
Good morning. On behalf of the Department of Children's Services, I want to thank the U.S. Marshal Service, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and our own team from DCS for the tireless work that has been put into this operation to bring these children home. The sheer number, 150, is praiseworthy. But even more exciting is the reality behind each of those 150 numbers is a child or a youth whose life and future may be forever changed by your work over these past months. 93 of the 150 children that were recovered are DCS children. Mostly girls, mostly previous declared to be dependent and neglected. And our department is committed to providing the individual help, services, and most of all security that each of those children need. Governor Lee has made it clear that child well-being is at the top of his priority list. This work goes a long way towards securing the path for the well-being of each of the children that you guys brought home. In 2019, there were 421,394 children reported missing in the NCIC system in our country, according to the FBI. And that's 421,394 too many. A perfect takeaway from this months-long effort by the Marshal Service, by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and by our own team at DCS is this: the work is transformational, we cannot stop, and there's nothing more worthwhile. And with that, I want to pitch it to our state's own director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Director David Rauch.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning. I'm David Rauch, Director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. First, I'd like to thank our partners in this operation, from planning to coordinating the resources to execution of the plan. It's been incredible to see how our agencies can work together towards such an important common goal. Many people don't realize this, but hundreds of children go missing in our state every month, from runaways that may leave home out of desperation or despair, to those entangled in a custody battle, or those that fall within the wrong crowd, or those that just feel like there's no safe option for them. Every single one of them deserves a fighting chance. And that's why they also deserve our best work to help them. As director, I'd like to thank those on our team who played such a vital role in this operation, all of our professional staff, from our agents to our analysts to our support teams. Thank you. Excellent work. Your work, fueled by prevailing passion to do the right thing, made a difference in this operation. And I hope it makes a long-term difference in the lives of those children that you've encountered over the past few months. The mission of the Bureau is that guilt shall not escape, nor innocence suffer. It's more than a motto to us. It reminds us every day what really matters. In this operation, it was the innocence of children. Those who may need help or love or a new start or just someone else to talk to. At TBI, we're committed to playing a part in that kind of work for the long haul. And we look forward to continuing these efforts of these types of operations in the future. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
What happens to these children now? Does the majority go back to DCS custody?
Yeah, so Commissioner, you want to?
Great question. If the children were already in DCS custody at the time they became missing, they will still be in our custody. What happens to those children is we've already started with the help of, frankly, our partners. The minute they were recovered, we were prepared at that point to start assessing their needs and determining what they needed now, at this point after having been out of custody for a while. Some of these children need mental health treatment. Some of them need just regular health treatment. Some of them need treatment at the CSEM, which is the commercial sexual exploitation of a minor type program. Their needs are varied, as are their ages and their backgrounds. So we have children 3 to 17 that were recovered, and we're on it.
While you're at the mic, last year, it's alleged that 2 children were allowed to run away and 2 DCS employees were charged. I'm wondering if that happens often, if that's how some of these kids ended up missing, and if so, what's being done about it?
I don't think that happens often. I'm familiar with the situation that you referred to, and it's why it's out there. None of these children that were recovered were in that situation. Thank goodness.
Can you speak to, it seems as though you had certain like operation days, maybe like weeks or weekends. On a regular basis, this is something you guys are looking at. Why does it take a specific effort and assignment to catch these?
Right, so obviously, first and foremost, it's unfortunately, this isn't the only thing we do, right? We have a number of responsibilities in the state, and it's not the only thing that our analyst team does, it's not the only thing our agents do, it's not the only thing the Marshal Service does, and it's certainly not the only thing that DCS does. And so while critical, and it's vital and important, and it certainly deserves the effort, it's not something that we can spin up and do every single day because of the manpower and the time that it takes to do it. Unfortunately, we don't have those types of resources, but it's important that we focus on it and that we do give it this type of attention when we can, right? And so I can tell you that we'll continue these efforts. We'll continue to work with each other to do these types of things. The ones on the list that we have that we didn't recover this time, we continue to search for those children. As was mentioned, I think one of the marshals mentioned it. Denny may have mentioned it when he was speaking. But this is an ongoing effort. I think Marshal Jolly is excited to say something, so I'm going to get out of his way and let him speak.
I would like to add to that just for a moment, because I want it to be clear that we do, even though this was a singular coordinated effort, on a regular basis, when a child is critically missing, endangered, goes missing in the state, we work with TBI on those cases as they happen. Sometimes those come out in Amber Alerts or the missing children, endangered children alerts that come out We will jump on those with TBI, local agencies, and try to find those kids as they happen. Those are one-offs, and, you know, we're doing our other work and those as they happen. But this is the first time that we decided to do this in a big coordinated fashion and really try to tackle the numbers of, you know, the critically missing children here in the state all in one major effort like this.
And to go off that, the 90 that are, you know, still out there, are they in extreme situations, or they just weren't able to be found during this time period?
They were just not able to be located at this time. So the search for them continued. We continue to look for more leads and information to attempt to locate those children as well. Obviously, as the Marshal said, we do this every day with the reports of immediate reports. But these are those that are in the system showing as missing, that may not get an everyday immediate response because they've been gone. We haven't been able to find them. So, you know, this is a good reminder that we need to constantly keep an eye on that focus and that ball, you know, by the success that we saw with this. And so, you know, I think it's critical to, and especially for those 90 children that are still out there, that we are looking for you, you know, and I think that's critical for the families to know and for the children to know that we haven't forgotten you. We continue to search for you. We continue to look for you, regardless of everything else we have to do. You know, I mentioned it earlier when we were in the other room having a conversation. These types of efforts, these operations are reminders to those of us who get caught in the mire of the work that there is critical work to be done every single day. And when you have the success that this operation had, it reminds you and it energizes you why we do this job.
You all mentioned you need the public's help. What can we do besides keep our eyes and ears open?
Yeah, so we put out bulletins all the time. There is a location on our website of missing children. DCS has lists them as well. And so what I would say is be vigilant. Take a look at what's out there. If you know where any of these children or have an idea where they may be, call us. Let us know. Those types of things help. You know, the single tips, you know, again, the conversations we were having earlier, our analysts are amazing, but they have to have information, right? And so the smallest thread, they'll weave into the largest sweater, right? And so just a single tip of some information that could help us, and we can take it from there.
Anything further? Well, if not, we'll excuse our panelists, and thank you so much for being here today. On that piece about complexity, as a total outsider, let me tell you, the amount of work that these analysts put into building these packets, when they say packets, literally, I'm talking packets of information with everything from known associates, cell phone numbers, possible address, possible people that should be contacted. The amount of information that was gathered in this effort was really quite impressive to me as a total outsider to it. As I indicated, we will publish a formal press release with all of the numbers shortly. We'll have that on our blog, as we typically do issue press releases. If you need to follow up with any kind of follow-up questions, tbi.media@tn.gov is the best way to reach us. Again, we thank you so much. Any follow-up questions for me before I go? All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.